bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Patrick Paez.
I'm Ed Ligao. Some stories you're watching this Tuesday, June 11. Former President Rodrigo Duterte calls as overkill yesterday's execution of the arrest warrant against fugitive Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. He condemns the use of, and we quote, excessive and unnecessary force in the incident. Expelled Congressman Arnulfo Tevez IV has been rearrested in Timor-Leste. That's after his brief release from detention. The DOJ stresses that the release and rearrest are simply part of Timor-Leste's legal process.
President Bongbong Marcos has told the Philippine military to prepare for, quote, more worrisome external threats. He notes the country's proximity to Taiwan, which he says makes the Philippines an area of interest for China. Marcos made a statement during his visit to the 5th Infantry Division in Isabela on Monday. And Carlito Galvez is the country's representative to the Ukraine Peace Summit in Switzerland. He is the presidential advisor on peace, reconciliation, and unity. The palace did not say why President Marcos is skipping the summit. Marcos Jr. was personally invited by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to attend the event, which happens in Switzerland on June 15 and 16.
And joining us today, Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star and Storycon's resident political pundit, Mr. Ortito Ronald Llamas.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ed, Patrick.
Ba't ang lalaki ng ngiti niya pag pinapakilala kayong dalawa?
Hindi, na-promote na from de facto to resident na.
Ayaw nga pala.
Depende yan, Ami. Pero kung minsan may binabana. Kasi nakakalimutan ni Ronald na dapat dito desente tayo. Naguguluhan siya pag tumatawid siya dun sa isang podcast. Di ba? Ayun. Nadadala niya dito.
Nakakalito eh.
Kakala niya, wag po pa rin eh.
Sa kanyan, pag may papansin, resident political analyst yan.
Ami, may papadala ba kayo dun sa Switzerland? Sa Peace Summit?
Hindi na siguro. Usually, ang nagpapadala kami kapag si President Marcos mismo. Dahil hindi na pupunta, salamat, menos gastos.
Baka pwede mag-volunteer.
Magre-rely na lang kami sa wires. But it's fascinating, no, na the fact that he's not going is news. Ala natin, lahat ng imbitasyon pinagbibigyan, di ba?
What do you read into that, Ami?
Well, merong nasty speculation. Meron namang yung pinaka-benign baka marami siyang mga schedule na rito. Kasi bigla-bigla yung dating dito ni Volodymyr Zelensky, remember? Saka hindi naman talaga naka-schedule yun ngayon. Siguro marami ng too many schedules na mag-overlap. Kaya hindi siya makapunta.
Is it a question of schedules lang, Tito Ronald Llamas, or is it also because he's trying to avoid maybe offending or crossing other countries that might be?
Baka hindi naman. Baka, kung meron siyang ma-offend, na-offenda niya eh. dun sa kanyang Shangri-La Forum, di ba? Na-offenda niya eh. So, baka ito pa ay yung mga binabanggit niya sa kanyang mga speeches this past few weeks, yung blatant destabilization. Baka may kaunting fire doon sa smoke.
So may laman yun?
Ng destabilization. Posible. Dahil sabi ni Senator Trillanes, June or July daw mangyayari yung kanyang inaasahan na
Yes.
international warrant. So hindi mo alam kung biglang darating yun.
What you're saying is that he doesn't want to be out of the country.
Posible.
When all of these things happen.
Lalo na, sabi ni Digong ay overkill. Yung paglusob dun sa establishment ni Quiboloy sa Davao. Di ba? Sa Davao ba yan? No? Overkill.
May mga
overkill
kumakalat
daw
ngayon. Ewan ko kayo kayo dyan sa TV5, if you are verifying, may mga nagkakalat na mga text ngayon about anti-Duterte, and it's credited to certain officials in government. Bine-verify pa namin kung ano-ano kumakalat ngayon dyan by text, by social media. And yung kumakalat, yung bine-verify namin, it's related nga to the ICC arrest. It's pretty anti-Duterte. It's almost a rant Ewan ko kung nakuha niya na, nagkakalat yung text na yun ngayon. Bine-verify pa namin yung pinanggalingan.
Hindi yan yung rant ni Attorney Harry Roque. Hindi yan yung rant niya.
No, it's not Harry Roque.
Pero walang attribution yung rant?
I-forward, ang nakuha ko lang kasi kung sino yung nag-forward eh.
Okay.
Pero may inaano na colonel, military colonel eh. So tinitingnan pa namin yon. Medyo mahaba yung ano. Very anti-Duterte. Tapos sabi, ang balak daw, tinutulungan daw ng Chinese government, ang Duterte camp, na ganyan nga, manggulo because para hindi matuloy yung ICC arrest at para i-install si Vice President Sara Duterte as president. So this is related pa rin to the destabilization. So bini-verify namin yung mga nagkakalap na ano. Ang hirap-hirap.
Yeah.
Ang hirap-hirap ngayon. Ano?
Again, just to qualify, that's still for verification. Although, last year,
Yes.
meron namang mga retired general at retired captain na
Yes.
very outright sa kanilang pagka-anti-BBM. And
Hindi, saka sinasabi
Yes.
talaga, withdrawal of support at transfer ng support kay Vice President Sara. Di ba?
Dating Cagayan de Oro general eh.
Ang nakakatawa lang, dahil bago niya sinabi yon, nagbenta muna siya ng sugar-free chocolate. Di ba? Nilagay pa niya at yung kanyang number.
alright.
Okay na sana eh, di ba? Okay na sana. Kaso nagbenta ng sugar-free chocolate. Eh. Pag
Tsaka may isa
mag-withdraw
pa
ng
kami
support ka, huwag mo
bine-verify
gagawin
ngayon.
yun.
Ewan ko ngayon. Baka kasama sa external threat yung nakuhang uniform sa Porac Pogo. Na Pogo win.
Medyo
Ayan ang mga
funny yun eh.
tinitingnan namin.
Medyo fun.
Ano ba tingin? Ano ba
Si
tingin
Atoral,
na doon?
medyo natatawa siya eh. Kasi kung sleeper cell daw yun, ba't daw nagdala ng uniforme? Parang ito yung mga
Hindi ba-
kinikwento
hindi ba medyo
na huling NPA na may ID
Oo, may ID.
at saka subversive documents.
Oh, baka may beep
Ginawa
card
na.
pa yun eh, para sa MRT.
Yes.
Alam
Pero
ko,
hindi ba nakakapagtaka? Remember, hinol dyan ng korte, ng Malolos Court, yung raid na yan. Bakit may nagkakalak pa na ganon, di ba? Na-delay yung raid na yun eh. Alam ka namang kinalat ka, iniwanan yun doon or military uniform pa. Ewan ko ha, baka naman
Only in the
we're all
Philippines.
verifying these stories.
saka kung sleeper cell yun, dapat camouflage pajamas yung nahanap nila.
O baka yung pajama niya, di ba?
Pero,
Ayan o, ayan o.
Although in fairness, tama naman yung camouflage pattern.
Tama ba?
Pero,
Tama yung pattern.
PLA yung ano eh.
pero ang daming uniform
Ang
kasi
dami.
sa PLA.
Ang dami rin. O,
Ang
parang
dami rin eh.
Pilipinas.
Ilang daan yun, no?
Bak sabi nga nila, it's discontinued daw. We don't know if it's a discontinued pattern. Kasi
Yes.
nagpapalit ng pattern yung mga ano eh.
Hindi, marami niya sa Divisoria.
Oh, totoo yun. Totoo yun.
Mura lang sa
Pwede ka
Divisoria.
magpatay.
In fairness, chinek ko sa Lazada kung nagbebenta sila ng ganyan. Wala naman. Meron ganyan pattern, pero for kids. Oo, parang costume for
Start
kids.
them young.
Start them young. Okay.
Ami, medyo interesting din yung statement ni Digong, di ba? Sabi niya, overkill
Yes.
daw yung raid, di ba? Ano kaya,
Pero
paano
pag
kaya nila
tinignan mo,
tatawagin yung tokhang?
remember, tama si Harry
underkill?
Roque kahapon eh. Yung arrest warrant, hindi ka pwede mag-barge in eh. No, hindi ka pwede mag-barge in eh if you're serving an arrest warrant. Pwede kang kumatok.
Yeah.
Kailangan may lumabas dyan eh. Hindi ka pwede magpilit na pwede silang kasuhan dyan actually eh.
Ang sabi ng
Na ganyan,
PNP,
sinira yung gate eh. They used force.
ang sabi ng PNP, Ami, meron daw search warrant.
Yung search warrant nga, tama. If they are looking for guns, pwede. Ano yung hinahanap mo? Kung drugs ba or ano, hindi pwedeng you are searching for a person. Arrest warrant nga yun eh.
Okay. So in an arrest
Tama siya eh.
warrant, there's the authorities, the serving party is not allowed to search. Parang ganun ang sinasabi.
Sirap na search
Hindi
warrant.
kasama yung search doon
hindi
eh.
kasama.
Hindi, ako binabase ko lang nga doon sa ano namin, yung mga marami na kami kasing libel suit na may arrest warrant. Hindi siya pwedeng basta-basta pumasok dito sa opisina to serve. Kailangan may pupunta whether papasukin namin sila o hindi. Nasa amin na yon eh. Someone will receive it or baka pwedeng isara yung opisina mo, yung lugar mo, at sabihin, walang tao rito, walang magre-receive niyan.
Yeah.
Yun ang ginagawa ng iba actually.
SOP sa atin yan, di ba, sa mga newsroom na deny lang deny na nandun yung ano, sisilbihan ng search warrant.
Kaya pala walang mahuli masyado, no?
Hindi kapag may tao sa isa pang ano namin, kapag yung kung bailable naman ang libel eh. Kapag nabalitaan namin, yung abogado mo, kung magaling ang abogado mo, nabalitaan, oy, may inisyo ng arrest warrant sa kliyente mo. Yung abogado na pupunta doon to post the bail. So they don't even have to serve the arrest warrant if it's bailable eh. I understand bailable naman yung inaano kay, hindi.
Hindi,
I'm
hindi.
not sure.
Yung kay Quiboloy, non-bailable yun.
I'm not sure. Ang hindi siya pwedeng mag-bail, yung sa Senate, yun ang kinatatakutan niya. Although, hindi naman ngayon ng Senate. Ewan ko kung pwede silang pa-arrestuhin na hindi siya makakalabas.
Okay, we will
I'm
have
not sure
with us...
kung yung mga cases na yan, kasi parang sinasabi nila, bailable naman, bakit di ka nalang lumabas?
Okay, Ami,
Parang ang kinatatakutan nyo sa Senado.
yeah, we have with us later the attorney or the lawyer
Yeah.
of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. Meantime,
Yes.
we're bringing back to the Storycon the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission Chief Gilbert Cruz, still on the issue of the Pogo raids. Magandang hapon po,
Okay.
Yusek Cruz.
Welcome back, Yusek Cruz.
Ayan.
Good afternoon,
Yes, sir.
Yusek.
Magandang hapon no, Sir Ed, Sir Patrick, Sir Ronald, and Ma'am Ami.
Yusek, unang tanong po, tapos na ba? Tapos na ba yung search nyo dyan sa 10-hectare property o Pogo Complex dyan sa Porac, Pampanga? The last time we had you, hindi pa tapos. Pero is it done? What else have we discovered?
Tsaka Yusek, nadagdagan na ba yung 45 niyong tao?
Hindi pa po. Sir, hindi pa po. Actually, sir, yung raid po natin, yung search po natin ngayon.
Sir, go ahead, sir.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Wala.
Go ahead.
Yes,
search,
yes.
Yung search po natin, bali 18 na po, yung search po, nasa search po natin building. And then marami pa pong naiwan, mga 25 pa pong buildings yung isa-search pa po natin.
Sir, kahapon 15 na. Ngayon
45 lang nga daw yung tao kasi.
I can imagine kasi malalaking buildings eh. At kailangan lugugin eh.
45 yung buildings eh.
Kasi
Mas marami
malalaki
pa sa
po
tao
kasi
nila.
yung buildings eh. And sa laki po ng buildings, mga 4 na palapag po kada isang building. Tapos, depende po dun sa kwarto sa dadatnan namin. Kung halimbawa, yung isang kwarto ay napakarami pong ebidensya, natatagalan po dun. Pag marami po mga computers, kailangan po examinin mo na yung computers bago po ilalagay sa isang box. Kasi po, kailangan po i-proper namin, pinaproper po namin ngayon, kaya medyo
Parang forensics.
po. Opo, actually, ganun po yung ginagawa natin. Yung kailangan ingatan natin, talagang tinatag po namin ng maayos, ilalagay po sa atin sa evidence box para hindi ho masira at makontaminate yung evidence na nakukuha natin.
Yusek, but aside from what you told us yesterday, have you found anything substantial since we talked yesterday?
Like secret rooms.
Meron rin, sa ngayon yung mga torture rooms and then kasi yung mga torture equipment parang normal na lang dito sa building na ito eh. Meron pa rin po tayo nakukuha mga torture equipment and then may mga uniforms po tayo, military uniforms, alleged military uniform na siyempre po papacheck pa po natin yan whether yan po ay authentic kasi baka naman ginagamit lang nila yan na panakot o kaya ginagamit lang po nila na kung nagko-cosplay po sila, baka nagko-cosplay sila.
Mag-Halloween.
Tapos baka rin baka naman po ginagamit din nila yan o nabili lang nila sa isang military surplus shop. Ngayon, ang ginagawa po namin, since may nakita po kami mga emergency tag doon po sa mga pants at jackets nila, pag emergency tags kasi sir, doon po nakalagay yung pangalan kung kanino inisyo yan. Doon po nakapangalan kung ano yung blood type mo niya, kung anong service po niya. Yun po ang kailangan natin i-verify with the other law enforcement agencies na counterpart po natin sa ibang bansa.
Yusek?
Yusek, can you tell us more? Saan nakita itong mga uniforme? Kasi yan ang pinag-uusapan ngayon ng mga tao eh.
Dalawang building po yan. As I can remember, I think 3 sets were found in building 11 and the other 3 sets yata ma'am sa isang building 13 po. Kung tama po yung pagkaka-recall ko. Opo.
Doon
Pero
ba siya sa
doon po
yung
yun,
malapit sa torture chamber na sinasabi ninyo? Doon sila nakita, malapit?
Yung mga
Or doon mismo sa
Opo,
chamber?
Yung mga buildings po na yun. Yung mga buildings po na yun, parehas kung... Hello, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Opo.
Yes, ma'am. Yung mga buildings po na yun, parehong nakitaan ho ng mga torture equipment. So, I don't know kung mga, opo, may mga torture equipment din po kasi nakita dun sa mga buildings na yun.
Sir, can you qualify that? When you say torture equipment, what exactly are we referring to? Pang-kuryente
We're
ba?
referring to, yes, these are baseball bats,
Mhm.
yung mga retractable steel baton, and then they have yung mga spacers po na mahaba na kala mo baton but may kuryente po sa dulo.
Yung may kuryente, yung yung parang zapper.
Opo. Yes, opo.
Ay, Yusek, without
Yes, sir.
endangering yung
Yes.
future operations nyo, meron pa ba kayo na-identify na mga ibang Pogo hubs na balak nyong i-raid?
Marami po sa radar natin, Sir Ronald. Actually, ang naiwan pa po dyan is mga 300 plus na mga illegal Pogo hubs. And according sa PAGCOR po, mga 48 o 49 lang po yung nag-register sa kanila at nagpa-license po uli as IGL, yung Internet Gaming License. And rest of the 300 plus, hindi na po nagpa-register yan. So actually, last year pa po yata yan, they are operating all without license po.
So 40 lang yung legal. 300 ang hindi.
Opo. Tama po yun. So, yung mga 300 po, puro kolorum na po yun, puro guerrilla, at nag-ooperate po yan na wala akong lisensya talaga.
Parang ang hirap sir mag-operate ng 300 pogo na pagkarami-rami tapos puro banyaga. Paano kung nakakalusot yung ganun?
Yun ho actually, parehas po tayo ng tanong, like yung nangyari po dyan sa Banban and dyan sa Porac. Napakaraming banyaga at actually yung mga Pilipino pong nagtatrabaho dyan, mga lang po yan, mga sa laundry,
Mga service.
sa maintenance, sa security, services lang po. But most of them who are working for the scamming activities inside the Pogo Hub are mostly foreign nationals.
Okay,
Yung kumusta na yung effort nyo to identify the owner? Kasi nag-issue ng statement si Porac Mayor, wala daw siyang ginalalaman dyan kasi kumakalat daw yung chismis na may involvement siya dyan. Kumusta na yung effort niya to find out kung sinong may-ari, sino nag-finance niyan?
Ma'am, meron na po kaming mga persons of interest and there are actually names, especially dun po sa SEC. And as far as the local government po, nag-issue po sila kasi ng letter of no objection that the letter of no objection was signed by the mayor and the Sangguniang Bayan members. So I think noong 2019 po yata sila nag-issue noon. And I don't know, noong mga succeeding years, kasi ma'am, pag may lono ka, automatic meron ka pong business permit and mayor permit. So we are also checking whether naging continuous po yan hanggang 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. But for now, ma'am, ang hawak po namin is yung lono nung nagsimula po yan noong 2019. 2019, yes, tama po.
Okay. Yusek, do we know who owns the property? That's 10 hectares.
Sir, we have the names. Yes, sir.
Yes.
We have the names and the USEC registration nila. And doon po kasi malalaman natin kung sino yung mga nagre-represent. Not necessarily po kasi nakikita natin kaagad yung may-ari doon. But those who represent the company, nandun naman po. So, siguro sir, hindi ko na lang muna banggitin but meron na po tayong pangalan.
These are Filipinos, of course, Yusek.
May mga nakita po akong Chinese names and Filipino names, sir.
Okay.
Yusek, kasama ba sa mandate nyo na imbestigahan itong mga enablers na malamang ay kasama dito sa organized criminal syndicates na ito? Halimbawa, sa Bureau of Immigration. No? Imposible naman itong mga to nakapasok nang wala silang kakutsaba sa BI. So, kasama ba sa mandate ng PAOK yung imbestigahan itong mga enablers na ito?
Yes, sir. Actually, kasama po yan. But we need to coordinate with other agencies like yung sa Ombudsman po, sa DILG, especially if they want to be investigated are mga local government officials. So, kino-coordinate po natin sa DIL dyan, sa Solgen po, and of course, the Ombudsman pag magpapile po tayo.
Okay, Yusek, I understand that from the last executive session in the Senate on POGOs, there was a recommendation, or the takeaway of the senators at least, is that POGOs have to be declared a threat to national security already because of what they see as a pattern of parang linkages between POGOs run by Chinese syndicates that are starting to have linkages with local criminal syndicates. What is the PAOK's position on this matter?
Yes, sir. With the discovery of number of crimes, linking po dito sa mga POGO hubs na ito, yung illegal POGO hubs po na ito, like kidnapping, murder, human trafficking, drugs, yung torture po, and then yung mga fugitives po na nakukuha natin, And lalong-lalo na po yung scamming activities nila na ang dami-dami pong biktima. So, ang nakikita po namin dito, sa opinion ko lang, sir, is yung negative na nagagawa po ng POGO, it far outweighs yung benefits na pinangako po sa atin na dadalhin niya, na may trabaho, maganda yung ibibigay. And ang nakikita po pong dinadala nito is more crimes, and parang napapahiya po yung country natin. Parang tayo po yung nagiging source ng mga na-scam ng mga kababayan mo nila sa bansa. Kasi yun po yung sinasabi sa akin ng mga counterparts po natin pag may mga meetings po kami, dahil yung dating maliit nilang crime rate, masyado pong tumaas dahil sa dami ng mga online scams na ang pinagmumunan po pag trace nila dito sa atin ang gagaling.
Okay, clarification lang, Yusek. You mentioned scamming activities involving these POGOs. Yung mga target ba ng scamming activities na ito are Filipinos already? Kasi, Yusek, I've been noticing, for example, on my phone, at least through text messages, ang dami pumapasok ngayon ng mga parang scam messages. Is this being, are we saying that this is part of POGO activities, illegal POGO activities?
Yes, sir. Actually, in some of our previous raids that we've done, like halimbawa po dito sa Makati, yung isang pinasok po namin dyan, ang scamming activity po dyan ay loan scam. So yung mga natatanggap nyo na mga messages na sinasabing do you need loan? Do you need loan with the lowest interest? Doon po nanggagaling yan. Meron po kasi silang text blasters that can reach as far as 5 kilometers pag dumaan po kayo doon sa area na yon. So kung ikaw may cellphone ka, nagda-drive ka, may utang ka, tapos makakatanggap ka ng gano'n, you need loan with the lowest interest. So parang sasabihin mo, ito na yung sagot sa problema mo. Pero eventually, malalaman mo na ikaw pala ay pumasok sa parang patibong na nabiktima ka lang ng loan scam.
Yusek, natanggal sa pwesto yung provincial director ng PNP, in-announce ng PNP kanina eh. Ito ba yung direct na may kinalaman dun sa Pogo Raid sa Porac?
Ay, hindi ko po alam yung naging reason why tinanggal po yung director po o provincial director ng PNP dun sa Pampanga po and of course the station commander of Porac. Siguro alamin ko na lang kung bakit po. But kasi po nakapokus kami dito sa mga ipapahid naming kaso at yung sa nagpapatong-patong na mga iba't ibang ebidensya po na nare-recover po namin on a daily basis.
Yusek, pabalo na ako. If you look at it as a matter of processes and procedures, ano nakikita niyo mga problema dito pagdating dun sa how we treat POGOs or how we allow POGOs in the country? Ano yung mga butas, kumbaga? Ano yung mga kailangang aksyonan?
Well, siguro pagpasok pa lang sa akin ng mga empleyado po, especially mga foreign nationals, they should be checked first kung sila po ba ay mga wanted person, ano ba ang record niyan, ano ba ang ginamit nila para makapasok po sa bansa, mga illegal alien ba yan o may mga papeles. Kasi po malalaman naman po natin yan once we got strict doon po sa sa pag-inspection po ng dokumento nila, pagpasok pa lang po. And then of course, yung mga nag-a-apply po nung POGO, ano po ba yung background? Kasi dito po sa mga nakaraang raid namin, yung mga nakapirma po dun sa mga SEC or those who signed the documents for the POGO hub. Minsan nalalaman natin na mga wanted person pala o may shady character pala po yung mga nandoon. So, sa simula pa lang po, if we will be strict in the application pa lang, tingin ko hindi na ho lalaki ng ganyan yan. And of course, dapat may monitoring. It's like yung PAGCOR, they must be, of course, strict sa monitoring nila. And kung kulang ho yung technical knowledge nila, then they can seek the help of the other agency like the Anti-Cybercrime Group or the Cyber Group of the National Bureau of Investigation.
Pero
para po matulungan sila.
Yes, sir. Pero Yusek, paano nga yung monitoring pagdating sa, for example, POGO? In this particular case, you're looking at 10 hectares. Kahit paano self-contained yan. How exactly is the monitoring done or supposed to be done in, for example, a POGO of that size? Ano yung pinapayagan at hindi pinapayagan ng batas, for example? At anong tingin nyo kailangang baguhin o amiyandahan sa batas?
Kasi po sir, marami namang red flag na makikita or indicators na makikita na this company na POGO or IGL, may mga paipit. Pag sinabi kong paipit, meron po silang scamming activity. Like, halimbawa po, presence of SIM card. Like in the cases of Banban and Porac, thousands of pre-registered SIM cards po ang nandun sa parehong POGO na yun. Like yung mga computers, ano ba yung mga laman po ng computers? Mati-check naman po yun. Pag love scam po, makikita nyo may mga manual po kayong makikita ron on how they will lure yung mga victim nila o paano nila ibubudol yung mga biktima po nila. Marami pong indicators na magsasabi na this company scammer po scamming ang ginagawa.
Minsan ang hirap-hirap niya kasi yung magko-conduct ng background check sa mga foreigner. Sila yung nagpapapasok ng mga illegal na yan Yan ang problema Tapos sinabi niya, there are about 300 illegal POGOs. Paano yan, mga 40 plus lang yung mga tao niyo? Ano kaya ang pwedeng remedyo dyan? Hindi matapos-tapos. Sa isang POGO, ilang building yung kailangan i-search. Ano kaya yan? Are you planning to recruit more people or deputize people, ask for more resources, or coordinate with local governments? Pati yung mga nagbabantay dyan sa mga POGO, mga pulis Kaya nga tinatanggal yung yung mga pulis na naka-assign dyan Imbis na mag-monitor, sila yung nagbabodyguard ng illegal. Paano kaya yung mga i-remedyo dyan?
Ang tingin ko naman po dito, ma'am, maganda na rin po yung whole of nation approach ang gawin dito. But the monitoring will be, siguro, pwede hong kami or the Office of the President o kung sino po yung i-designate. Kasi po, makokontrol naman po as long na meron pong nagdidikta kung ano po yung mangyayari sa taas Like halimbawa po, kung pagkakatiwala po natin sa local yan at nakita naman po natin na hindi po tama yung ginagawa nila, pwede naman po namin i-call yung attention ng mga nag-i-implement na.
Yusek?
Opo. Yes,
Yusek,
yes, sir.
Meron ba kayong coordination sa ibang international law enforcement agencies? Dahil itong POGO kasi transnational crime ito No? It crosses borders Kaya nakipagtulungan ba kayo dun sa halimbawa Interpol?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Meron po tayong mga coordination na ginagawa. Kaya nga po, sir, nalaman natin na yung mga ini-scam dito sa atin, ang karamihan po ng biktima is taga-labas. Mga taga-Taiwan, taga-China, taga-Australia, Spain. Kaya po natin nalalaman na marami pong biktima ay tagalabas dahil po sa coordination na ginagawa natin. And also, in identifying those pogo workers o illegal pogo workers, sir, na nagtatrabaho rito, kaya po natin nalalaman na mga wanted fugitives yan, is because there yung coordination po natin with the other counterparts, foreign counterparts.
Okay. Okay. Undersecretary Gilbert Cruz ng Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission. Sir, maraming salamat for joining us on day 2. Anong araw eh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Salamat.
Thank
Yusek.
you, Yusek.
Sir, teka,
hanggang Biyernes.
matatapos ba kayo ngayong araw o hanggang bukas namin kayo tatawagan?
Dapat talaga, dagdagan ang tao nyo.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for saying that, sir. Opo.
Thank you, sir. Ingat po.
Thank you, sir.
Let's bring in the lawyer of Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. Welcome to Storycon, Attorney Israelito Torion.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
And
Magandang hapon, sir.
Good afternoon po sa lahat ng viewers ng Storycon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
Attorney.
us.
Gandang
Sir,
hapon, attorney.
Attorney, nasan si Pastor? Yan.
Yan din ang tanong ko kung saan siya ngayon exactly. Oo, that's also my question. And that is why siguro kaya nangyayari itong maraming problema po ngayon.
Pero kayo po ba yung nakapag-usap lately?
Lately, wala po. The last time that I was able to talk to him was a long discussion prior to the issuance of the warrant of arrest issued by the Senate.
You haven't talked to him since the warrants were released?
Yes, I was not able to talk to him, but it was a long discussion before that was issued. We already talked about certain scenarios as to what would happen because somehow he was able to foresee that these things may happen. So that is why I can talk for him based on his last instructions to me.
Attorney, agree ba kayo sa statement ni former President Digong na overkill yung raid?
It was not only an overkill. I do believe, I have reasonable grounds to believe that it was even illegal. No? And why do I say that? Because under Rule 113, Section 11 of the revised rules on criminal procedure or rules on criminal procedure, there are 3 requisites before you can actually enter, a police officer can enter any enclosures or dwelling. And I believe that at least 2, and there is even ground to believe that all 3 are not present in this case. And why do I say that? Because the first requisite is, it states that the public officer, that the person to be arrested is or is reasonably believed to be in said building. Second, that the police officer has announced his purpose and authority to make the arrest. And then thirdly, the third requisite is that he has requested and been denied admittance. Now, as to the first requisite po, this has been grievously violated because the operation, the raid, was conducted simultaneously in 4 different locations. Number 1, in the airport compound here, the KJC Central. Second is in the Prayer Mountain in Tamayong, Kalinan. Third is in yung sa tuktok na talaga ng bundok, doon sa Glory Mountain din sa Kalinan. And fourth, in Kitbug in the southern province po, Sarangani province. So, I cannot believe that Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy would be reasonably believed to be in 4 places at the same time. And the arrest warrant likewise clearly indicated that his address is at KOJC Central in Buhangin, Davao City. So therefore, the search in the supposed arrest operation in Glory Mountain, in Tamayong, Kalinan, in the Prayer Mountain, and in Kitbug, are, to my mind, illegal.
Sasampahan nyo ba ng kaso, attorney, yung
yes po.
kapulisan? Sasampahan nyo ba ng kaso? Itong sinasabi nyong illegal, so pwede nyong sampahan ng kaso yung mga nag-serve ng warrant o yung nagutos?
There is that great probability po because we are looking at Article 269 of the Revised Penal Code, unlawful arrests. Because in Kalinan, in Glory Mountain, there were 9 members who were unlawfully arrested, and all the requisites of an unlawful arrest under Article 269 is present. There is also a probable violation of Article 132, which is interruption of religious worship, because here in KOJC Central in Buhangin, the operation was conducted at 3:45 in the morning to 4 o'clock. And that is actually the time of the devotional prayer of the members of KOJC, of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. And if you interrupt that, that is actually a manifestation or a ceremony of a religious nature, and that is actually criminal in nature likewise. The destruction of the fence can also constitute as malicious mischief, especially in the light of the fact that the entry was done without prior request to enter, no? And they know already that the administrator of all the properties of the kingdom is the former President Rodrigo Duterte, and President Rodrigo Duterte has consent has not been secured, and if you destroy outrightly the fence without prior consent on the part of the owner thereof, of course, that is a criminal violation. That is a crime.
Attorney Torion, the last time you talked to your client was before the arrest warrant was made or issued. The
Yes.
police have searched 4 places. There is no Pastor Quiboloy. The pastor himself has said that he fears for his life. Attorney, my question is the pastor in hiding?
I don't think he is in hiding, because he is availing of the options that are available to him under the law. I think he already intimated his reason. He has genuine grounds to believe that he might be a victim of extraordinary rendition to be conducted by the United States of America, and he actually intimated or clearly stated his request to the Philippine government that there is at least a formal declaration that the United States of America should not be allowed to intervene in purely domestic matters. And we already explained that this is a legal request in the light of the social contract theory, that we surrender some of our rights to the government, and the government in return should protect us. And what is that protection? Protection against territorial interference insofar as domestic affairs is concerned. It is not an unreasonable request that the United States of America should be prevented from interfering in the domestic affairs, especially judicial proceedings in our country.
Pero di ba, Attorney,
you don't
yun
wanna
po
say
ang
that-
kanyang takot dito.
You don't want to say that he is in hiding. So what do we call the situation? He's making himself unavailable for
He is
rendition,
making
for
himself
law
unavailable.
enforcers?
He cannot just be found, and that is one of his options under the law. Because note that the legal term fugitive from justice in the famous Rodriguez case states that a person can be considered as a fugitive from justice if there is already a conviction against him, and to all those persons who, after being charged, flee to avoid prosecution. In this case, there is still a legal question as to the phrase "after being charged," simply because of the fact that we are questioning the indictment on the ground that there was really no probable cause against him. But the more meaty part is that there is violation of his right to speedy disposition of cases in Kagang versus Sandigan Bayan, Katamko versus Sandigan Bayan, and such other host of cases. The Supreme Court has stated that if there is grave violation of the right of an accused to speedy disposition of cases, then there is no valid information, and the information is void, and therefore the warrant of arrest is void. And if a person avails of such right, we filed a motion for reconsideration from the resolution of the Department of Justice, and it is still pending until now. And whose fault is that? That is the fault of the Department of Justice for again delaying the disposition of this case. So therefore, if he avails of that right, and in the meantime waits for it to be ruled upon by the court, you cannot legally tell that he is a fugitive from justice. So therefore, I have reasonable grounds to say that he is not in hiding. He
Pero
is
attorney,
simply
he may not be,
unavailable.
attorney, he may not be a
Attorney,
fugitive of
would you
justice,
know
but
at
he's
least
wanted
if
by the
he's
law.
still in the Philippines?
That I really do not know as of the moment. Whether or not he is in the Philippines or already abroad, I cannot say with certainty. But I communicate with his leaders every day. And as a matter of fact, I am now inside the JMC compound, KOJC compound, which was the place of the raid yesterday.
So, Attorney,
And can you clarify if there is a search warrant? Kasi
No
yun ang
search
sinasabi niya
warrant.
ng iba.
Yun na nga po,
There was
Ma'am
no
Amy.
search warrant.
Wala pong search warrant. Nung dumating ako, 3:45 a.m., nakatulog kasi ako 2:30 kasi po, di po ako ng law school, nag-aaral po tayo, marami
Yes.
din tayong kaso. 2:30 na ako nakarating. 3:45 pala sila dito. They arrived here at 3:45 a.m. and you know, wala pong pasabi. Diretso ka agad. It turned out hindi pala mga taga Davao yun. Taga Region 10 pala yun. Yung mga pulis, kaya wala silang knowledge as to the terrain, no? Diretso silang umakyat. Hindi naman po pwede yun because Rule 113, Section 11 states that even if you are a warrant of arrest, you should secure the consent of the person who is the owner of the building or enclosure or the facility. You could not just enter the property armed only by an arrest warrant, no? It is only after you announce your purpose. Rule 113, Section 11 states that, and if you are refused admittance, that you can break entry, no? That's the rule. But in this case, hindi po na-follow yun eh. Wala ngang tawag doon sa administrator ng property. And who is the administrator? Si President Rodrigo Duterte po. Dapat nagpaalam sila, President, meron po kaming arrest warrant dito. Sigurado ako mapapagalitan sila kasi no May 11, 2024, nag-serve na sila ng arrest warrant. Pangatlo na po itong service na search warrant na ito. And under the rules, the police officers, no, are mandated to render a report of the warrant. Return ang tawag niyan, no, within 10 days.
Attorney.
May order na nga yung judge na na-recognize niya yung return. Ang proper procedure po, dapat nag-file po sila ng motion for issuance of alias warrant of arrest. Hindi ginawa yun eh. At during the time of the service po, wala namang warrant officer. Walang warrant officer from the court. Lahat po sila, mga full military gear, full battle gear. Siyempre, nagsiservice yung mga members ni Pastor, nagulantang. And what would be the initial reaction of a man when his castle, when his home is invaded? He would naturally defend the castle because according to U.S. versus Arceo, the Supreme Court clearly stated that however powerful a king may be, a human being, a person, is a king in his own home. That is his own castle. So you could not just violate the privacy of the home, of our house, or a dwelling, or even a facility without the consent of the owner. That is one of the most cherished concept of all civilized society.
Attorney, for a non-lawyer like me, nahihirapan akong sundan yung jurisprudence na binabanggit nyo. Pero dalawang simpleng tanong lang. Kung as a lawyer, anong i-advise nyo kay Pastor Quiboloy? Should he surrender? Should he hide? Ikalawa ay, may possibility ba, yung tanong ni Ami kanina, may possibility ba na nasa labas na siya ng bansa? Dahil sabi nyo kasi hindi nyo alam kung nandito siya sa loob o nasa labas. So, may possibility na nasa labas na rin siya ng bansa?
Only Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy can answer that. But as to answer your first question po, sir, if you are a lawyer and you are asked an opinion by your client, no, I believe that you have to provide him options because that is not your choice. You have to provide him perhaps 3 options and you let him decide. You have to conduct a SWOT analysis to him. What are the strengths, weaknesses? What are the threats if you do this? Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? But you let your client decide. In this case, he has made his decision, and whatever may be my opinion contrary to such a decision, I have to respect him because in the final analysis, that is his person, that is his right, and I have to respect his right on the matter.
Pero based on the
So, was
SWOT na
surrender one
binigay
of the
nyo,
options?
attorney,
One of the options.
Was surrender one of
nakapagbigay
the
na kayo ng
options?
tatlong
One
option.
of the options is to surrender. You remember, I do
Yeah.
hope Senator Lacson po would forgive me. During that time po, meron din pong warrant si Senator Lacson. But he waited. He waited until the Court of Appeals decided that there is no probable cause against him, and he appeared. That's one of the right of a person if there is a warrant of arrest, especially if you question the finding of probable cause, which in this case is really questionable. Imagine those cases were already dismissed 4 years ago, and then we filed a motion for early resolution. Wala pong nangyari. You let 4 years to pass by in the Department of Justice, and then all of a sudden, simply because it has become fashionable to attack Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy through the Senate hearings, through Senator Risa Hontiveros, who issued or spewed virulent comments against him, then all of a sudden there is a resolution which is even highly questionable. Meron pang ang preliminary investigation sa Davao City. Doon sa Pasig mo i-file? Kailan ba naging rule natin na kung ang crime sa Pasig City, ang preliminary investigation gagawin sa Davao City? The laws are flying po, Ma'am Ami. And that is precisely why we are valiantly questioning the resolution as against Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy.
Pero sir, like Ping Lacson, of course, Pastor Quiboloy has the legal recourse to question the validity of the arrest warrant. That's a given. I think that's what the Supreme Court ruling was about. But at the same time, that does not erase the fact that he is still a fugitive. Because there is an arrest warrant against him, the court has ordered his arrest for him to appear before the court, and you also have an arrest warrant coming from the Senate. So I know you're saying that he's not in hiding, that he is not a fugitive, but I don't want to also quibble about terminologies because whichever way you cut the cake, you are cutting the cake. In this case, he is wanted by the courts, and he's taking the recourse of going to the legal process. I understand that. But still, he is still in hiding.
With due respect, are you a lawyer po, sir?
No, sir.
Hindi.
I am not.
No, sir. That is why there are technical definitions when you define a fugitive from justice. There is that leading case on the matter, and a fugitive from justice, if there's already a conviction and you hide, that's fugitive from justice. And the second aspect of it is that if are those persons who, after being charged, flee to avoid prosecution. Here, yung kolatilia kada after being charged kasi, hindi pa kasi tapos. Kasi meron pa kaming motion for reconsideration dun sa charged aspect. So therefore, the definition of a fugitive from justice does not attach. A layman would probably classify him as a fugitive from justice. But learned persons of the law would know that if the indictment is still under question, he is not technically yet, at least pursuant to our jurisprudence, a fugitive from justice.
Okay,
Yun
sir.
po ang
So
aking
what do you
pananaw
call
po yan.
it? What do
Pwede
you
po
call
ako
this?
magkamali po. Pwede po ako magkamali.
Yes, sir. So what do you call this
Di ba
then?
mas madali? Hindi ba mas madali, attorney, kung magpiansa na lang?
Ay, hindi po. Kasi
Available
ang
ba?
ginawa po dito, grabe din po kasi. Sa
Tapos sa
resolution
usapan, di
po
ba?
na minadali po.
Hindi ka learned eh.
Yung preliminary investigation ginawa sa Davao. Sa
Yes.
positive portion po, merong human trafficking aspect. Human
Yes.
trafficking aspect. Tapos, ang sabi, the Davao City Prosecution's Office is mandated to file information in Pasig. Basic legal effect. The Davao City Prosecution cannot conduct preliminary investigation for crimes committed in Pasig. So if you have a crime allegedly committed in Pasig, Pasig should conduct the preliminary investigation. Let's leave that as that. The resolution states that for one crime of human trafficking, okay, nung pumunta na sa Pasig, naging dalawa yung crime at naging non-bailable pa. So, tapos hindi lang
Okay.
yan. Sa penultimate portion po ng information, meron pang criminal forfeiture order. Ano yan? Yung anti-money laundering aspect, yung kinote pa, no? It gave the power on the part of the prosecution to order the seizure of the assets of the accused in this case. Grabe naman, akala ko rape itong
Okay. Attorney,
kaso na
Attorney Torion.
Bakit naman may aspect na ng money laundering po dito? Ano bang pakay dito? Pati assets ng kingdom, kukunin na.
Okay.
I hope you see my point.
Yes, Attorney. We see.
You may be against Pastor Apollo si Quiboloy. Some of you may not like him. I love him very much. I have been his lawyer for quite a time.
Okay.
We're close. But you should also take into consideration that what if this happens to you? A case for rape would be filed against you, and then thereafter the information would state that all your assets, no, in the meantime, because that anti-money laundering law allows the court through a motion to be filed by the prosecution for the issuance of APO. What is that? Asset Protection Order. And i-freeze yung mga assets mo. Naku, mahirap na pala ngayon
Attorney,
talaga. Lahat ng mga assets mo, i-freeze in the meantime. Wala naman yun sa ating batas eh.
Okay,
Bakit
Attorney.
talaga yun doon eh? Yun nga po ang aming punto dito.
Okay, maraming salamat, Attorney Israelito Torion. Attorney to Apollo, to Pastor Apollo
Yes,
Quiboloy.
sir. Pleasure talking to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Maraming salamat,
Salamat
po.
po. Salamat po.
Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining the Storycon today. Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, and Ronald Llamas na may pahabol pa sanang tanong. Pero sabi ko, overtime na tayo. Our resident political pundit, Ronald.
Hindi rin ako learned eh.
Gotta go. Join us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Patrick Paez. We are One News, all sides, all the time. This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.